Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of In Conversation by Advisor Coach. Today in conversation, our guest is Miss Suranjana Borthakur, Head of Distribution and Strategic Alliances with Mirae Asset Mutual Fund. Welcome, Suranjana, to In Conversation by Advisor Coach.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sareen, for doing this podcast with us.
Always our pleasure. And good to have you back once again.
Yeah, good to be here back again.
So Mirae Asset Mutual Fund enters into the SIF space, correct? And
Yes.
so you launch your first SIF fund, which is the Platinum Hybrid Long Short Equity Fund. So can you just take our viewers in terms of more details about what this SIF fund is all about, and some of also the way the portfolio construct is going to be. And of course, the extension of the question is, why SIF was needed in your client's portfolio and client's portfolio when we have so much of strategies around the traditional funds which they can offer. So, what are some of the unique features to your mind which SIFs do offer? Sorry, slightly an extended question. Yeah, we can have a long answer to that.
Yes, I think quite a few things to explain in that, but I think firstly, Suren, at Mirae, we're very excited to launch the SIF space because I think, it's a very unique space. There was a need for it, and which is where this segment came in. As you've rightly mentioned, we have actually launched this. It's under the brand name of Platinum, and we chose the hybrid long short category, which
Hmm.
is why so the product is the Platinum Hybrid Long Short Fund. The core objective of this product is essentially to provide, relatively stable, risk-adjusted returns, which
Hmm.
also has a good focus on the downside protection.
Hmm.
I think the endeavor is also to provide tax efficient returns in comparison to the traditional fixed income instruments which are available. I think if you look at the strategy, how it is differentiated, I would say that, the first part is that we are keeping a very flexible strategy. The flexibility runs across, collar strategies, arbitrage opportunities, high quality debt, as well as special opportunities.
Hmm.
So special situations is the other segment which you're getting into. So if you look at broadly the portfolio construct, we are actually looking at a range of about 5 to 70% in collar strategy, where we are looking at a controlled equity exposure. We are also looking at 5 to 70% of arbitrage. So
Hmm.
as you can see that 5 to 70 is the range between both collar as well as arbitrage, so that the flexibility remains high. The residual of 25 to 35% we would be investing into high quality debt papers, and the special situation is 0 to 10%. So the idea is very simple, that whenever there is, if you see an upward trending market, we would be increasing our allocation towards the collar strategy, where we would be looking at participating in equity with the control protection on the downside. We In a downward trending market, we would actually be, keeping the portfolio more towards the arbitrage side and less towards the collar. And through arbitrage, we would try to sort of generate a relatively, stable return, the carry based return that you can make out of arbitrage. The collar strategy is the part which is very important for investors as well as distributors to understand. It's a fairly simple strategy. Here, what we try to do is we look at buying a high quality stock. Usually, largely it is in the large cap universe. Along with that, you look at selling an out of the money call option on the upper side. So
Hmm.
what you try to do is when you're selling that call option, you are earning a premium, but there is a certain strike price at which you sell the call. So what you're ensuring is that on the upside, you will be participating up to the strike price of the call. Now, on the downside, we also buy an out of the money put option. Now, why we are doing that is so that when there is a downside of the stock, we also ensure that there is a protection on the downside. So we will be participating in the market as up to the strike price of the put that we buy.
Sure.
Now, two ways in which the collar strategy earns. One is that when you are selling the call and when you are buying the put, there is a premium that you pay while buying the put and premium that you get while selling the call. So that difference is what we call the yield. So yield is one part how you earn in the collar strategy. The other part is that, as I said, when the stock goes up, up till the strike price of the call is when you can participate in the market. So these are the two
Sure.
ways in which the caller makes money. Now,
Sure.
this very clearly defines, like a risk framework, that there is a downside protection as well as an upside participation,
Very true.
both limited within a fence. So which is where it's a very controlled and disciplined approach. Now, apart from this, like I said, it will also participate in the arbitrage segments. Arbitrage will keep taking that minimal exposure in terms of market risk also. And apart from this, in the debt side, we are ensuring that we would carry the quality of papers that we would carry would either be sovereign or it will be AAA or it will be AA plus. So we will not be going down the credit curve. So the idea is that somebody who comes into a product like this, they're essentially not looking at a very high risk, right? So they are not equipped to take the credit exposure as per us, which is why we will be avoiding going down the credit curve. So
Sure.
in addition to all of this, the strategy will also be getting into certain special situations as and when we get opportunities. So the special situations could be like, buybacks, could be mergers, acquisitions, could be, rights issues, could be open offers, could be any of these. So whenever we get an opportunity to participate in this, we will also be taking an exposure there. So what the strategy as a whole is trying to do is we try to create a portfolio, firstly, which has high flexibility between the different strategies that I told you. It tries to get the stability from the debt and the arbitrage component. It tries to see an yield enhancement from the collar strategy, probably an opportunistic alpha from the the special situations that I mentioned about. But overall, the idea is to give you a risk-adjusted return through different market cycles.
Sure. Sure.
Now, coming to the part of which you asked on, why the SIF was required, I think I find this very interesting because, I think in India, what was happening is we have a lot of clients who were evolving as the mass affluent segment, the mid segment. So what was happening is, there was a need for financially a little bit more of sophistication in products. I think people were increasingly becoming more affluent and therefore they need access to certain differentiated ideas, and maybe that is the reason they were maybe potentially a little underserved. So which is
Sure.
where a segment where people have wealth enough to want something more than mutual fund, but they're not able to access the PMS or the AIF. So which is where an SIF brought in that that access ladder to some differentiated ideas. Secondly, also, I think a lot of people, we know of late, we've been talking about this, that a lot of people have been trying to get into derivatives. What happens is probably, derivatives, when it's used by inexperienced people, inexperienced traders, the risk can actually be increased or amplified very significantly.
Very
What
true.
we saw that, the SEBI report had come where they're saying that, in FY25, I think 9 out of 10 people lost money is what they said, right, in derivative trading. I think one of the biggest reasons is also because, people were doing leverage trading, and leverage trading increases the risk disproportionately. Now,
Yes.
SIF gives an option of getting into derivatives, differentiated strategies, but without that leveraging, which actually exponentially could increase the risk. But I think what was happening is when you put these derivatives today in the hands of an experienced manager who can probably, use them as very powerful tools, not just for risk management, but also for the stability of portfolios. So
True.
I think the SIF structures would maybe give that, nuanced exposure to derivative strategies. But what was happening is these were strategies which were accessible only to HNIs, UHNIs, or institutional investors, right? Mostly through AI structures. So the other part which was also happening is that AIF structures used to have a taxation which was extremely
Mm,
inefficient. So that is another reason probably SIF came into being, because
mm,
now
mm,
when
mm,
you
mm.
use derivatives in a mutual fund sort of platform, suddenly the taxation is very advantageous.
It
So which
is.
is where that
Mm,
again gives an opportunity for even that segment of
mm.
clients to access these kind of strategies in a tax efficient structure.
True, true,
So I
true.
think that's maybe the need why it came in. Now, if you ask me, what are the probably the differentiators or the things which stand out in SF? To my mind, I think the first thing is that, short positions are allowed up to
Mm,
25% in SIF. That's the definition itself. The fact that, there's more sophisticated instruments like we mentioned, and, all of that can actually be
derivatives,
done
yeah.
on
Mm,
a relatively more regulated, as well as a platform which has more better disclosure norms. I think the fact that, leverage allow nahi hota is like I said, a big differentiator as well. And I think also AIFs वगैरह में बहुत ज़्यादा profit sharing होता था, तो वो profit
mm,
sharing वगैरह का structure भी इसमें नहीं है at the moment. So
mm.
that also differentiates it to a certain extent. But I think the biggest differentiator is the fact that आपको एंटर करने के लिए जो अमाउंट चाहिए, स्टार्ट करने के लिए जो अमाउंट चाहिए, that access amount is much lesser. So which is where 10 lakh is something that the mass affluent today probably can access. And therefore the difference, it's not absolutely retail, but it's giving a little bit of an edge to the and
Absolutely.
investors who can put in that one single check. I think it's to my mind, SIF is sort of democratizing institutional side,
True.
institutional style
Yeah.
of investing.
True, true. And just extending to your point, post this COVID, when the markets just went in one linear direction, a lot of these people, because everybody thinks that I know how to manage equity myself.
Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
that's the first thought which comes to
That's
anybody's
one thing
mind.
we hear from all distributors, that clients have been claiming that, they
Yes,
can manage their own money in a good
I know,
scenario.
I know all.
Yeah, I know it all.
तो उसमें a lot of these unregulated mom and pop stores that opened, which were managing 15 lakhs 12 lakh rupees people in a you could sort of a soft PMS sort of a manner, because 50 lakhs ticket and 1 crore is not everybody's pocket. So I think it
Yes,
also brings a lot of money back to the regulated umbrella
yes,
through the mutual funds route, that look, you wanted this, so you have an SIF, where you have the short position strategies, the derivative strategies, etc. And well, it's completely governed by SEBI.
yes,
Absolutely wonderful. So tell me now, this NFO of Platinum Hybrid Long Short Fund opened on 20th May and closing on 3rd June. So
yes.
why the name Platinum? How did you think of that brand name?
I think, firstly, see, Platinum is going to be a very focused brand for the SIF segment for us. The fact that it signals sort of a differentiated strategy, as well as a strategy which is, it's a little bit of a premium strategy compared to the mutual fund. So we wanted to give a feel which is little
Mm,
differentiated.
mm,
Also, I think SIF will have a distinct name which it will establish, it will have to establish over a period, and it will have to then operate independently. So, which is where we didn't want a very technical name. We didn't want a technical name which is just an extension of the MF brand or something. We wanted something which can create an identity of of its own, and which is where I think we looked at it more from a perspective, it should be more brand-like rather than just a mechanical name. I think that was the intent of it. And Platinum sort of gave that feel to us that it's a good name which could, sort of fit with our Mirrorset thought process that we are thinking. So, which is where this name came in. And now it will be the name which will be carried across our SIF strategies in equity, hybrid, debt, whatever products that we launch from here on.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Ranjan, any differentiated distribution strategies which you have introduced or adopted for your SIF fund distribution?
So Suren, when I look at distribution, when I look at engagements
Mhm.
across, I think what is very important is that at this point, education-led, educative sessions is what is the most important. So, it's very interesting that I've been traveling across and I've been doing a lot of engagements, especially in the MFD segment, where there could be a group of distributors who come in, maybe just four of them are certified. But if I start talking SIF, everybody gets interested. So everyone wants to know. They may not be certified yet, but they're keen to know about it. So we are taking it from a point of view that, we want to make it more education led rather than sales led. And which is where we are looking at, how do we create a space for this new category? How do we
Mhm.
position this new category? Because it is important for the partners to feel comfortable in this space. What is one of our fears is that, when people start talking too much in jargons and too much in theoretical way, the client is not going to get convinced. They will only run away from it. So simplifying communication has been an endeavor, and which is where we think we need to do that for the distribution community, and distribution community in turn will do that for the investors. I think so. Simplified communication, like I said, is top of the mind. Extensive partner engagements that we have been doing, the number of trainings that we've done, the number of engagements that we've done across. I think it's all been on this thought process of why SIF, why is a particular product required, a category required. The fact that all SIFs cannot be painted with the same brush within a single category, you have to evaluate each strategy very
Mm,
differently.
mm,
The
mm.
risk associated with each category, each strategy is very different from each other. So it's not like you want to own hybrid long shorts, so all the hybrid long shorts will look the same. They don't. They all look different from each other. The fact that, strategy explainers, which can be helpful to sort of explain to the client also what we are trying to do out
Mm,
of
mm.
adopting that strategy. So I think even concepts like, collar, which I just mentioned about, there is this perceived notion that they're very complex strategies. So to just simplify and say that it's not doing anything that's very out of the world, it's just doing very simple things, but explaining the intent of the strategy rather than too much of the technical of the strategy. I think that's the way we are approaching it. But when we are positioning, I think our strategy right now, what we have launched, I think it's very clear from a positioning point of view. I believe it's very important for the distributors to understand from a portfolio concept that why do you need that product? It's not
Mm,
that because SIF is coming, you just suddenly need to start
mm.
selling SIF. If that particular product makes sense to you, only then you should approach and know about it and then go and sell it to the client. For us, because we are looking at better tax efficiency compared to, traditional fixed income, the fact that, we're looking at lower volatility compared to directional equity exposure, the fact that we're looking at more risk adjusted returns in 1 to 2 year horizon, it has got attention of people. It is something that people are wanting to know more about. And that's how we've tried to approach that, let's tell them where the product fits. Whether they'll give it to the clients or not, let's leave it to them.
Absolutely correct. And like you mentioned that, when you are doing these seminars with distributors, you know, there is a lot of, I would say attraction level, at least from the distribution partner side on the SIF. So they are definitely warming up to this. If you could just also, provide our viewers with some, market statistics in terms of, how many partners do you believe have got, qualified for SIFs? What kind of assets under management, and what do you believe, individually, is a scalability for the SIF business in our country?
Yeah, I think, Siren, if you look at the number of distributors who are certified today, I think we still have a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
If you see the entire universe, I think it's about 6,000 people, but out of that, even there are people who are the multiple UIN holders within a bank or within a, well set up. So I think single MFDs would be around 5,000 maybe, and that is the number. But I think looking at our entire universe of distributors, I believe there is a long way to go. What I'm also hearing is a lot of distributors have been saying that, they're not getting dates. They want to complete the exam, but there are not enough seats
Wow.
there. In fact,
I like
somebody
this
was
one. I
yeah,
like this one.
someone was suggesting to me that, we as
Yeah.
manufacturers, we should do something about this.
Mm,
So, I think that's, I mean, people are keen to know.
mm,
But I think I feel in a very, very short period of time, it just started from October, right? The strategy started off, coming from October. And in a very short period of time, we have crossed now 12,200, I believe. And which is where I think that's a very, very healthy start. I
it is.
think
It is.
it's something that clients as well as distributors are both owning it up with open arms, which is a big, it's a really interesting thing from our perspective. But I feel that to actually scale it from here, firstly, certification has to go up. People
Mm,
have to, get this mindset out of the mind that, it's a difficult exam. Let's keep it
mm,
on the side. I think it's
mm,
not that difficult an exam. It's about how we approach the exam.
mm.
The fact that, people have to also look at what product they are selling to which client and what is the communication, because I believe that if we have a correct selling in the beginning, see,
Mm.
it's not always about mis-selling, it's about selling the right product to the right client.
Very
If
true.
we
Yeah.
are not doing that, we may not get incremental business going
Mm,
forward. I think we should stop judging performances on a very, very short-term
mm,
basis. I
mm.
think we should look at from here, the scalability will be determined by simplification of communication. And the more we understand the segment, I think the communication will keep getting more simplified. But it's about being open to knowing about these different strategies and not start with the most complex one. Maybe
Yeah.
start with the most basic one and then
Yeah.
go to the complex strategies.
Absolutely. And this 12,000, you know, it's happened in the time when the markets have been the most volatile.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that's the kind of faith which people are putting in to an SIF
Yeah.
as a investment strategy. That's also brilliant.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. So, Suranjana, what else is new with Mirae Asset India? What are some of the initiatives or, activities, achievements? If you could just highlight, since this is an opportunity as well to ask you that.
Yes. No, I think, Sunil, very interesting part, and I mean, it's interesting time for our business today. We have reached about 240,000 crores, but what is interesting is that we were traditionally a more, known as the equity fund house, but very happy to say that we have built on the other segments of the market very well. I
Hmm.
think the debt part, which we started to build post the IL&FS more,
Hmm.
it was against the tide that we've been able to build about 25, 30,000 crores today. I
Hmm.
think it's an interesting thing that, debt today, it sort of diversifies our business, but going forward, that base will actually multiply from here. I think hybrid has become a significant segment for us as
Very
well.
true. Hmm.
We used to have just a couple of products earlier. We launched our MAF, BAF, etc. in the last couple of years, and those have also built up very well. I think if we look at the passive segment, again, passive is a segment which is about 24,000 crores today. And in our basket, passive, we have the basic products as well as differentiated ideas, and that is being taken up by investors and distributors equally very well. Earlier, there used to be more resistance to passive. Today, I hear more and more people asking, what are the different ideas that you
Yeah.
have? So I think mindset has changed there.
In fact, I was
Give
just reading an article today.
Yeah.
Passive folios have crossed 5 crores.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
I read
So
today. Yeah.
it's growing very fast.
Yeah.
In fact, gift has been again another very interesting segment for us. I think gift is a segment where, we launched both inbound as well as outbound product, and inbound was still, taking some time to take off, but I think the outbound just absolutely, took a leap. I mean, it sort of just completely, the acceptance was very, very high. And
Mm,
today we are one of the significant players in gift as well.
very
So
true.
that's a segment which has built up. But I think within our equity basket also, Suren, if you see the kind of products which we have launched in the last couple of years, some of the very important segments where we didn't have products, like, the Flexi Cap, the Multi Cap, which we launched in 2023, the Multi Asset, which we launched in 24, the BAF we launched in 22, and the Small Cap we launched last year. MAF, BAF, Small Cap, Flexi, Multi, all of them are in a very sweet spot, even in terms
Mm,
of size and scale. And
yes,
today
yes.
we are getting more and more acceptance in that space, while our earlier funds are continuing to get attention. But I think these new funds, they're shaping up very well. And
Very
that's a
true.
segment which is the newest segment that we are talking about more. I think the fund management team has also strengthened over the last few years. Our research universe has gone up significantly. We are also trying to build complementing skill sets within the team in fund management, where, with as we grow to become a much larger AMC from here, we will require complementing skill sets in the team, right? So which is where that's again something, and along with the market depth increasing, along with the ideations required much more in the broader market, I think our research universe increasing has also given us a good enroll. So we're in a good space in the business. We only want to make it stronger. And now with this SIF coming in, I think we sort of complete the journey in this space. Whatever is available, we have a product to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely echo your thoughts because the way, Mirae as a group and Mirae Asset mutual fund, we get deepened into the Indian markets. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And I think it just reflects, the credibility of the team managing the entire activities behind the Mirae Asset mutual fund. So compliments to all of you.
Thank you so much.
So today, through this in conversation, Surajna, what message would you like to give to all the viewers listening to you regarding SIF as a category in their portfolio, or part of their suggestion or advice, and particularly about your SIF as well?
Yeah. I think SIF, I believe, is a very important milestone in the investment landscape in India. I think it's a milestone which probably was definitely not present. I believe that for investors, it is very important to evaluate SIF strategies, not just from a lens that they are high risk derivative products. I think that notion needs to be put aside. I think it's important for them to understand that disciplined portfolio creation in derivatives can actually give you quite an edge, especially in risk management, and which is where very good low risk products can be created out of this strategy. So I think they need to evaluate it with an open mind. They need to evaluate each strategy as it comes, and not just, like I said, not paint with the same brush. Every strategy will be different from each other.
True.
For the distributors and advisors, I would think this is a great opportunity to have another solution in the universe. I believe SIFs are also coming into segments which were not easily available
Mm,
in
mm,
a
mm.
mutual fund, right? So you might be tapping into a universe where mutual fund was not, it was not being placed yet. We could also get some money, which wallet share of clients, which was lying in instruments where they were looking at very, very conservative returns, probably, and where in mutual funds in a certain segment, we were not able to, give a solution. We may be able to give very good risk adjusted solutions in that basket. So to be open to ideas there, but also the fact that to evaluate each strategy with the risk parameter that it has, and along with that, what is a fitment in the portfolio. It just pick what is required. While we've had a very good start to our NFO, but I've been saying this repeatedly everywhere that only if you require the product, you should buy it in the book. But
Correct.
if it is required and you're able to place it well, I think that is something that can get you a lot more wallet share from the client. From our platinum long short product, I think our endeavor has been very clear that we are looking at more of protecting the downside. We are looking at delivering relatively stable returns. We are looking at dynamically adapting in different scenarios of the market, and I think a strong discipline in the product is what will probably also play a role. But I really feel that when people are looking at this space, I've been hearing from a lot of distributors that there was nothing which was in this middle segment. When something above the fixed income or fixed deposit or arbitrage, but below the equity savings. Like in our basket, at least we didn't have that product. And
Mhm.
now, on a tax efficient basis, when we are able to provide that, there is a market which has been untapped for us. So is the case for the industry. So I think to be open minded and to evaluate each product for the risk that it carries. I think that's what I would leave a message.
Very well. Very well. There's so much new to hear and new to learn whenever we
Yes.
interact, Suranjana. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much.
So, well, for our viewers, this is Miss Suranjana Borthakur, Head of Distribution and Strategic Alliances with Mirae Asset Mutual Fund. As you heard, Mirae Asset Mutual Fund has launched their first SIF fund, which is the Platinum Hybrid Long Short Equity Fund, opened on 20th of May 2026 and closing on the 3rd of June 2026. Suranjana, thank you very much for taking our time today and taking our viewers, through this wonderful discussion and conversation where you explained multiple things around SIF and, of course, about your fund as well. Thank you very much, and we wish you the very, very best for this new fund offer.
Thank you so much, Surin. Thanks. Lovely chatting with you, and enjoyed the
Pleasure.
conversation, and thanks for doing this with us.
Always a pleasure. And for our viewers, I would just like to remind you that please subscribe to Advisor Coach YouTube channel for more such interesting updates from brilliant people like Suranjana. Thank you very much, Suranjana.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.